In this video, we will cover the time of the kings. Before we begin, I received a message from one of our viewers about the last video, and he says, had the Israelites not sinned, they would have entered the Promised Land 20 years from Adam, because it took 7 years to conquer and divide the land. He then goes on to say, and I've made a graphic here because it's really quite insightful, but he says, the 20 years is the 7 times period from your earlier videos, except here it starts from when sin entered the world through Adam and ends at the Promised Land. So thank you to Elijah at Number Crunching, is my cardio for this insightful message. Now let's journey through the time of the kings. All right, so if you've watched our earlier videos, you may recall the time of the kings was a 499-year period which began with Saul and ended with Zedekiah, the fall of Jerusalem, and the destruction of the temple. So now let's keep building our timeline and confirm that it is actually 499 years. Okay, so beginning with Saul, his first year as king was 9 years from Adam, and Saul reigned 40 years. Then after Saul, David reigned 40 years. Then after David, Solomon reigned 40 years. Then after Solomon, Rehoboam reigned 17 years. Then Abijah reigned 3 years. Then Asa reigned 41 years. And now we get to Jehoshaphat. So from Saul through to Asa, the information is fairly straightforward. And here are the Bible verses so you can verify the information for yourself. So after Asa comes Jehoshaphat. Now in 2 Kings chapter 3 verse 1, we read that Joram became king over Israel in the 18th year of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah. Then in 2 Kings chapter 8 verse 16, we read that in Joram's 5th year, which would be Jehoshaphat's 22nd year, right? Okay, you with me? So in Joram's 5th year, then Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, began his reign as king of Judah, and Jehoram is Jehoshaphat's son. Now, by the way, Jehoshaphat's reign is still going on, so here we have father and son co-reigning, and this is a so-called co-regency, where their reigns overlap. So this is an example of a co-regency. Okay, so in Jehoshaphat's 22nd year, his son Jehoram begins his reign, and in 2 Kings chapter 8 verse 17, we see Jehoram reigns for 8 years. So he begins his first year in the 22nd year of his father's reign, and then Jehoram reigns another 7 years. So let's go ahead and include this into our timeline. In 2 Kings 8 verse 25, we see Jehoram's son Ahaziah has a 1-year reign alongside his dad. So Jehoram and Ahaziah share a 1-year co-regency. After that year, it is Ahaziah's mother, Athaliah, who takes the reign, and she reigns 6 years. Then after Athaliah, Joash reigns 40 years. Then after Joash, Amaziah reigns 29 years. Then after Amaziah, Azariah reigns 52 years. Right, so this is what we have so far. And here are the next lot of Bible verses so you can verify the information. All right, we're doing it. So the next thing is, in 2 Kings chapter 15 verse 27, we read that in Azariah's 52nd year, Pekah becomes king over Israel, and he reigned 20 years. So his first year is the 52nd year of Azariah. And then he reigns another 19 years. Then in 2 Kings chapter 15 verses 27 to 32, we read that Hoshea basically conspired against Pekah and attacked and assassinated him and succeeded him as king of Israel. And verse 32 confirms this. The 20th year of Jotham, who himself had a 20-year reign, but began a year after Pekah. So from Azariah's 52nd year, we've got Pekah for another 19, and we get to Hoshea. So 2 Kings 18 verse 9. Hoshea's 7th year is Hezekiah's 4th year. So we're basically flip-flopping or zigzagging between the kings of Judah and Israel, kind of like stones skipping our way through. You know, there's a correlation here. You pull me up, then I pull you up. But hey, we're getting the job done, so let's keep going. So 2 Kings 18 verse 2, Hezekiah reigned 29 years. So from his 4th year, he reigns another 25 years. So the outcome of this piece of work is that we flip-flopped our way from Azariah to Hezekiah. So now, let's include this into our timeline. So then after Hezekiah, Manasseh reigns 55 years. Then after Manasseh, Amon reigns 2 years. Then after Amon, Josiah reigns 31 years. Then after Josiah, Jehoiakim reigns 11 years. All right, so one more piece of work and then we're done for the day. In Jeremiah chapter 25, verse 1, we read, "The 4th year of Jehoiakim was the 1st year of Nebuchadnezzar." Now here, first year means his accession year. Note the Hebrew text for the word first is the only occurrence of this word in the Old Testament. Now fast forward to Jehoiakim's 11th and final year. 2 Chronicles 36 verse 10 then reads, "At the turn of the year," which means the following year. So the following year is Nebuchadnezzar's 8th year of his reign. In that year, Nebuchadnezzar makes Zedekiah king. However, this is Zedekiah's accession year, so Nebuchadnezzar's 8th year is unaccredited to any king. All right, so then Zedekiah begins his reign in Nebuchadnezzar's 9th year and reigns 11 years, as we are told in 2 Kings 24, verse 18. So counting Nebuchadnezzar's 9th year as Zedekiah's 1st year, then Nebuchadnezzar's 19th year is Zedekiah's 11th and final year. And 2 Kings 25, verse 8 confirms this. So Zedekiah was the last king of Judah because the Babylonians killed his sons before his eyes, and they also killed the nobles of Judah. So they were determined to kill the male heirs. They then blinded Zedekiah, bound him, and transported him to Babylon, where he remained until his death. He was, however, survived by his daughters. However, that's a story for another day. So, back to our story. Nebuchadnezzar's 19th year is the fall of Jerusalem and the destruction of the temple. So based on our analysis, Nebuchadnezzar captured Jerusalem in the 8th year of his reign and destroyed the temple in his 19th year. So counting his 8th as year 1, there are 12 years between the two events. And this is consistent with Ezekiel 33 verse 21 and Ezekiel 40 verse 1, which together confirm there were indeed 12 years from the capture of Jerusalem to the destruction of the temple, or the fall of Jerusalem. So Ezekiel 33 verse 21 has the fall of Jerusalem, which includes the destruction of the temple occurring in the 12th year of the exile, and the exile began with Babylon capturing Jerusalem. And then Ezekiel 40 verse 1 has the 25th year of the exile being the 14th year from the fall of Jerusalem. This only works if the fall of the city occurred in the 12th year after the exile. So counting the 12th year as 1, then add another 13 years, and voila. So there were 12 years from when Babylon captured Jerusalem to the destruction of the temple. So now grab your calculator and add up all these numbers. And the sum total is, wait for it, 499 years. 499 years from Saul to Zedekiah. This is a milestone moment. Once again, congratulations if you worked through these calculations along with us, or at least followed the logic. So that completes this leg of the journey. But wait a minute, I'm only getting warmed up here. We need to unpack the 499 years. This is not just any other number, and there's quite a lot beneath the surface. There is more gold here. That's the plan for the next video, so come prepared. I feel like Dr. Emmett Brown here.
My calculations are correct. You're gonna see some serious shit.